Hello, and actually still good morning here in Philly. This is Philly, and coming to you live. And in my kitchen today, it's going to be another test kitchen. So, except for this time, it'll be live. And today I'm testing out some more rice paper hacks. So I don't know if you've been seeing these on social media, but there are so many versatile things you can do with rice paper beyond spring rolls and beyond summer rolls, both of which I love. And so today we're going to be trying three other hacks, and when I say hacks, it's with many of these, it's nothing brand new that someone discovered. It's just more that things kind of are coming to our awareness and we're excited to try them. So rice paper is something that I think you can find at most grocery stores. You'll want to look in the Asian section, and of course you can find it in Asian grocery stores as well. It's fairly inexpensive and very versatile. And if any of you who follow me noticed a while back, I did a few shorts, in fact I linked them below, of some different uses with rice paper. One of them was putting many pieces together to make a thicker noodle and then cutting it to almost making like a pappardelle rice paper, and then we made a yummy chili sauce to toss it with. And in another one, I made that Vietnamese pizza, and which is street food that you can find there and very delicious with egg and really a lot of other things that you can add, and you do it in a pan. So today we're going to be using which I don't do very often. We're going to be using a fryer for 3 different recipes, and so I'm going to get started. So if you are joining me for the first time, welcome. I do love chit-chatting with those that are on, so feel free to chat below, ask questions, anything like that, or just say hi. And if you're watching from afar, I appreciate your support as well. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss anything. Sometimes I drop a video, I release a variety of shorts, and I do these live streams. So, so welcome. And so we're going to begin. So 2 of the recipes we're going to be doing, we are going to assemble and then we are going to let them dry a little bit so they can be fried. So this inspiration for the first 2 I actually got from a content creator, Jasmine and T, and I saw them on YouTube, on a YouTube short, I believe. And the 2 that I'm going to be starting with so they can dry out in the fridge a little bit are crispy rice paper cheese sticks, as well as a firecracker shrimp. But I'm going to switch it up a little bit in a different way than what she had done to, again, highlight our rice paper. So Eugenia, hello. It's so good to have you on. I've missed you. And how's the weather out there on the West Coast? I will say here it is very un-August-like. It is gorgeous. I think it's the lowest humidity we've had, since springtime. And I think the high today is 80. It is absolutely beautiful. So totally gorgeous day here in the city. And you know what? I'll take it because we had a lot of heat and humidity, and I'm very excited for these more enjoyable temperatures. I know it won't last forever, but hey, you know what? We'll enjoy it when we can. And so welcome to the stream. So I'm going to get started. So for this first one, we're going to need, you could really probably use any cheese. I'm going to be using mozzarella cheese, and it's what she used in the recipe. So let me grab some. And also, I'm going to be putting some warm water, just any kind of pan. I happen to have a cake pan that fits these quite perfectly, and I'm going to actually be cutting these in half to make them easier to use. So let me get some warm water going, and I'm going to get a little mat that we can use when we're creating these. There we go. A little crumb on there. All right. So let me see if this water is warm. You don't want the water hot because then the rice paper can kind of misbehave. I'm also going to grab some kitchen shears. With a couple of the things we're going to be doing with rice paper, you might be tempted to split in half, instead of using scissors. And you could just use regular scissors for this, just make sure they're clean. And but when you split it in half, it tends to shatter. So definitely use a scissor. And even then, it can get a little uneven at the edges, but don't let that worry you. And Eugenia, you had said that you had a bunch of rice paper that you were looking forward to figuring out what to do with. So I hope this helps. All right. So here is our, let me move it down so you can all see a little bit better. There we go. All right. Excellent. So there is our warm water. Again, we don't want it hot. Mine's probably just lukewarm, but it'll be just fine. And then the first thing I'm going to get to do for our mozzarella sticks, so to speak, is I'm going to take 2 pieces of rice paper. So we got 2. Now hers in her video were square, mine are round, and I'm just going to cut them in half to make it easier to work for, and cutting them like it's really easy, super easy. So you can see here, 2 on this side, 2 on that side, all right? And I am gonna do 4, let me just make sure, because I have been, yeah, I have enough, okay, because I've been using this a lot, so I just wanna make sure I don't overuse. So I'm gonna do that one more time for these mozzarella sticks. The other thing that's really nice about rice paper is there are a lot of people that are gluten sensitive. My sister is one of them, and it isn't a fad for her. She had been all her life trying to figure out what was giving her terrible stomach ache. She's not celiac, by the way, but she definitely has a gluten sensitivity. And so, you know, something like this she would be able to eat, which is nice. So I did 2 more sets. You can see there's 2 there, 2 here, and I just cut them. All right, so then what we're gonna do next, let me get my scissors because we'll need them later, is I'm just going to soak these together just to let them soften. Now I will tell you, because this is not my first rodeo working with rice paper, is just give them a soak and bring them out, because they will continue to soften with the water that's on them. So don't dip them and soak them until they become what you think is malleable enough, because they will continue to do it. All right, now I'm just going to smooth this out. She doesn't show that, but it helps get some of the little bubbles that are between the sheets. I have a little towel here. And then I'm just going to cut this in half. In fact, I'll get both of these cut in half. So these are ready to go. Get some scissors. Not scissors, a knife. Okay. And I'm actually going to get my other one going too, just so I can wrap them up pretty about the same time. So I'm just going to dunk these other 2. Try to keep them together. Get some of the excess water off. There we go. And then I'm going to, again, just smooth them a little bit to get some of those air bubbles that'll be in there out. And let that sit. All right, so I'm going to cut this in half. And then what she showed is, let me see if I can show you, is you're going to put it about 1/3 of the way down, and you bring up your rice paper. So let me show you. 1/3 of the way down, you bring up your rice paper, and then I'm folding in the edges because I want to seal that bottom. I don't want that cheese to squeak out, right? I'm going to fold in the edges. And then we're going to roll. We're just going to roll, 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 roll. And then what you're going to have is this little pocket, this little cute little pocket thing of cheese. And then I'm going to put it on a rack because I want it to dry out a little bit. Now, if you're in a rush for time, you could use a cool setting of a hairdryer to do that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these wrapped and our next recipe wrapped. And do make sure you have it, there we go, I'm just moving this over. And then we'll let them dry out in the fridge. So I'm just gonna roll this over this way. And then we'll do some frying. There we go. So, you know, for anyone that is celiac, or, there we go, nice and super easy. Like, I think people often get worried about rice paper because and trust me, I've made summer rolls before, which I love, and that's where you don't fry the rolls after you make them. You put in all sorts of fresh ingredients. You could keep it vegetarian. You could add, you know, some different meats in there. I usually keep it with seafood. Shrimp is my favorite summer roll. And I will tell you, when you're rolling it up like a burrito, it can be a little bit sticky and fussy, but this is much easier. So don't worry about the summer roll thing. DS, hello, welcome to the stream. We are rolling and making rice paper cheese sticks. So I'm just gonna get these wet like I got the other ones wet, those 2 sheets together. It's funny, if I think, you know, she recommends 2 sheets, by the way, because I think it helps create that encasement that's going to keep the cheese in there. Okay, then I'm going to put this here and just smooth out the few of the bubbles. Doesn't have to be perfect, just smooth out some of those air bubbles. And I'm going to take these other 2 sheets we cut, and I'm going to dip, get them a little wet in this warm water. There is. In fact, Eugenia and DS, what do you guys like to use rice paper for? Or how do you use it? Or what are some creative ways you've enjoyed it? Maybe you haven't fixed it that way, but you've enjoyed it in a restaurant or at a friend's house. And again, I'm just smoothing out some of these air bubbles here, and we're going to do 2 more cheese sticks. I agree. Yes, I do. I see so many cool things, and I'm all for it. Like, I love that kind of creativity. All right, so we have smoothed both of these. Move this out of the way. And then I'm going to cut my cheese in half, my cheese stick. And I'm just going to bring up that one side and roll. There we go. Now bring up the edges. Don't forget, after you get the initial roll over top of the cheese, you want to bring in the edges and kind of tuck them as you're continuing the roll, so that all that cheesy goodness, now see, I actually see something came untucked. So I'm going to smooth it out and roll so that all the cheesiness stays in. And I'll tell you, these have gotten actually in this short time pretty dry here, but you do want the moisture out. It doesn't have to be completely dry, but you want them dryish because it's gonna help you get a nice crispy coating when you fry them. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this side over here. And DS, are you enjoying this lovely weather as much as I am? I'm super pleased with the temperatures and the humidity or lack thereof. It is just a summer treat. I'm not gonna lie. So I will tell you, friends, this one here, the last one's giving me a wee bit of trouble. There we go. It's just not wanting to tuck and stay closed. So if one's going to come loose, it's going to be this one. So we shall see. I'm going to try to like just move some of these pieces over and tuck. And by the way, those, you guys know I love to do chicken wings. I also saw a creator make a chicken wing and encase them in this rice paper. And don't you know that I'm going to try that? You know I will. All right, so we have now on a rack, so they can dry out, our 4 cheese sticks that we are going to fry in just a little bit. But first, before we do that, in fact, let me put this on this side, I want to get our next recipe assembled so that it can dry out as well. So let me put this aside just for a second because we have a little bit of mixing to do. And let me see here. Eugenia said she's mostly had summer rolls, and DS loves a great shrimp roll with carrots, scallions, and mint. Yummy. Oh, that sounds delicious. It sounds really refreshing too, which I love. And Eugenia says, never got the hang of it myself. Yeah, I will say, for me, summer rolls are much more challenging rolling than these cheese sticks. Because, you know, the thing with the cheese sticks is they're all staying together, right? And then DS says, my favorite season is autumn, and it feels like this with cooler weather. Yes, autumn and spring are my favorites. Those bar none. Right, fried cheese. Isn't that awesome? I'm so excited to try this. So, okay, so now we're going to make firecracker shrimp. So the same content creator, Jasmine and T, later, you know, I don't know, because I've been kind of mulling about this for a few months now. She made a firecracker shrimp, and so she seasoned some shrimp and she rolled them in wonton wraps. But again, I was thinking with my rice paper, like, what would that be like in rice paper instead? I know it'll get crispy. I know that my sister can eat it because it'll be gluten-free. So I want to try her recipe, but with rice paper. So that's what we're going to do. So what I have done is I have some jumbo shrimp that I have peeled just to the tail. They've been peeled, deveined, and I dried them with paper towels. So I'm going to bring them out of the fridge, see if they need a little more drying, and then I'm going to be making a sauce, a marinade, if you will, that they're going to go in before we wrap them. So let's get out those shrimp. All right, so I'm just going to do 4 here for our test. I'm going to get a paper towel. See that I've cut off here. Just make sure that these are nice and dry. So just some jumbo shrimp. Now, to get these shrimp to look super cool, as hers did, you need to do some cuts along the way so that they will lay straight and we can wrap them up very similarly to how we wrapped up our cheese sticks. And you do want to keep the tails on because that will be how you dip it. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how to make them straight. So we want to hold your shrimp this way, where it's curving up like a smile, and you're going to make little cuts along the inner part here, and then it'll release that smile and have it go straight. So I'm going to do about 4 cuts, not all the way down, just enough until I can get it to lay straight. Do a little bit more there, and if it's not laying straight, you just want to go through a little bit more. So now all of a sudden you see my shrimp can go straight. All right, and then we'll be laying it in this rice paper. So I'm going to do it with the rest of my shrimp. And this is also how they do tempura shrimp that are straight for rolls, you know, for sushi rolls. There we go. So I've got that 2. I'm going to do my 3rd one. There we go. And 1 more. Get these all so they're laying straight. This one is not cooperating as well, which is why I love doing these live streams, so you can see if yours isn't cooperating, that sometimes it just happens. So just be patient. Just don't go all the way through because you don't want to actually cut the shrimp apart, but you want to be able to have it go down so it can go straight. There we are. So our shrimps are all ready. You can see they're all straight, laying down, ready for the next step. So the next step is going to be to make a yummy marinade. Her recipe is below. It's for firecracker shrimp, so you can see the exact amounts. I'm just doing a smaller amount right now. So I'm just going to be eyeballing the amounts of the flavorings. So for our flavorings in here, we are going to need oyster sauce, fish sauce, some garlic, and some ginger. You can, of course, use fresh. You know me, for the interest of time, many times, I just like to use the tube, or this, I was out of my tube, and I picked up this jar. So in here, I'm just going to make, because I just have 4 shrimp, so I'm not going to make a ton. I'm going to get some my oyster sauce, maybe about a tablespoon, just a little bit of fish sauce, don't need a ton. Probably that's like a half teaspoon would be my guess. And then a little bit of garlic for like maybe a clove, not even a clove, maybe half clove. And then about the same amount of ginger as garlic. Let me show you what I got here. You see? And then I'm just going to mix that up. And then I'm going to toss my shrimp in it so that they can take on those wonderful flavors. And again, this was the flavoring recommended by Jasmine and Tea, that creator. So we'll get our shrimp in there, do a little toss. And then they are good to go. Just get them all tossed. There we go. Excellent. I'll put these over here so y'all can see. And then we're going to just repeat the steps that we had done before with the mozzarella, except this time, go like that. Except this time we are going to leave the tail out. So we're only going to be rolling from the one end. So again, what we're going to do is we are going to cut our paper in half. I'm just now, so okay, let me just back up a second. If you recall, in her recipe, she uses wonton wrappers, which you absolutely could do. But I'm going to use rice paper because that's what it's about today. It's about rice paper. So I'm using rice paper. So I'm going, and because it's shrimp, and I'm not worried about cheese oozing out, I'm going to leave it just be one sheet. So I'm going to take a sheet out. Actually, I'm going to do two because I need a total of 4 sheets. Let me just cover this up. I will say my recommendation if you're ever working with rice paper is kind of keep an eye out and keep covered the stuff you're not using. I find they tend to fold up and bend. All right, so I've got 2 because I'm going to need 4 shrimp, or I have 4 shrimp, so I'm using 2, cutting them in half, but I'm only going to dip one at a time because I want it to be crispy and shattering. I don't want the outer side to be too thick for me personally. All right, there we go. So now I'm just going to dip. Get my scissors out of the way. And these are just, you know what, they're from the grocery store. They're just whatever jumbo shrimp they had, DS. I just saw your question there. And you said tiger shrimp are my go-to. They have the best shrimp flavor. Yes. So I'm not sure exactly where these shrimp are from. So that's an excellent question. And I also will tell you I love Carolina shrimp. Heading there in a few weeks. And the shrimp they catch off the shore are absolutely fabulous. I also love Gulf shrimp. Those are another great shrimp, but more, again, more local, hard to find sometimes up here. Yes, exactly. The Asian mirepoix, garlic, ginger, and scallions. Oh, Matthew, welcome. Welcome on. And Poe, oh my goodness, it's been such a long time. I'm so excited that you're on. Well, friends, we are making some yummy stuff. So to catch you up, what we did so far was we wrapped up in rice paper. We moistened it 2 sheets thick, half of a sheet, and wrapped up some cheese, and we're letting it dry out. Now we're making firecracker shrimp. Then we're going to let all of those things dry out a little bit in the fridge, and then we'll bring them back out to cook. All right, so now this marinated shrimp, I'm going to take it out. Take out some of the extra marinade off of that. And then I want to make sure I lay the tail outside of the rice paper. And I'm going to just rinse my hands because I really don't want that on the other side. So I've laid it on that half of a piece of rice paper, the tail is off, and I'm going to do the same technique except just one side. So I'm wrapping the first part, and then I'm wrapping the other side in like a burrito on just that side. And then I'm going to continue to wrap it all the way up till it's a tight little pocket of shrimp. So you see that? So this is all rice paper that's been wrapped up. And then I'm going to lay it out here to dry. And we're going to do the next one. I'm going to need my paper towel because it'll help get the stuff off my fingers. So I'm just going to take that shrimp and take out a little bit of the extra sauce because I want to flavor it, but I don't want to have the sauce too much elsewhere. I'm going to lay that shrimp with the tail out. Remember, that's the important step. Keep that tail out so that can be a great handle. So, Poe, how's your summer going so far? And Matthew, same to you. Thank you both for joining here with DS and Eugenia. And I'm just rolling this guy up, rolling it all the way up. My nice little package. So again, this is easier than making summer rolls. I guarantee it. Because you're not trying to fit all of those materials in there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my last 2 sheets. I'm going to get them moist in some warm water. Cool water is fine too, to be honest. Not too long. Take them out. Remember, they're still pretty like papery, but they will moisten. That's the biggest thing I would say. My niece gave me that advice. My niece Erica at one point was, don't wait till they feel pliable in the water to start doing them, because they will. They totally continue to soften. I'm actually going to get both shrimp out at the same time just so I can then give my hands a good rinse. So again, I'm laying it on both of these pieces of rice paper with the tail sticking out, and the tail is sticking out on the flat, on the straight edge of the half circle, so that that edge stays straight. Let me get this stuff out of the way. All right, and now I'm just pulling that over top, bringing the one side in like a burrito, and continuing, and to try to keep it a little tight, to wrap. And there it is. And one more. So if you weren't teaching and talking on a live stream like I'm doing right now, this would go pretty quick. And you could do this ahead of time. And well, let me first say, you could do this ahead of time and then fry them when your guests came. The only thing I would say is with this, because it's in a marinade and it is shrimp, which are quite tender, you don't want that to be too long. Like I wouldn't do it the day before, because I just don't want that marinade to break down the shrimp at all. So that would be my only suggestion. The cheese you could totally do ahead of time, because that's not going to hurt it being there. All right, let me wash my hands and show you what we got. So these guys are going to go into the fridge until we're ready to fry them. And we've got our rice paper, 4 cheese sticks, and 4 firecracker shrimp. So I'm putting them in the fridge to continue to dry out. And all I did here was put a rack, like I do with my chicken wings, on top. It could be a plate, a pan, whatever you choose. There we go. All right. So before we do our third rice paper hack, and we are actually going to cook it right away, I do want to make a dipping sauce. So for the firecracker shrimp, Jasmine and T, her version with the wontons, she dipped in a sweet Thai chili sauce. So, and to be quite honest, as you know I will be, I thought I had some and I don't. Like because I thought I hadn't used the last of it. It's one thing I use a lot because it's, I think I even made some, I used it for one of the spicy Asian shrimp I'd done months ago in the sauce, but I used the last of it and I'd forgotten that. So I'm going to be, because you know what? This happens to us cooks, right? You're like, oh, I don't have that. Should I not make the dish? So I'm going to make a little dipping sauce with something I do have. And what I do have, as you all well know, is I have chili crisp. So, and I want to talk to you a little bit about those. I know all of you are quite versed on the chili crisp. Oh, where did mine go? Oh, they're there. And, but I have a new flavor that I've been using, and I wanted to tell you my thoughts on it. So y'all know my favorite is La Gama, and that's the spicy chili crisp. But recently I purchased a Fly by Ying, and it's a Sichuan chili crisp. So I'm going to use that for the dip today. You could use either. And what I found, I will say La Gaman is my favorite. I think that chili crisp has such a complex flavor profile and some heat, but not too bad. But just it's like my heart sings, to be quite honest, when I have that on anything. I get all the feels from it. Fly by Ying is delicious, but to me, and this is a good thing, it's very, to me, it just has that classic Szechuan flavor. So it has heat, but it has, for me, its profile flavor profile is a little more singular, whereas Lao Gama is more broad and complex. Fly by Ying, for me, is more singular, in that it's very much a Szechuan Cantonese flavor for me, and but delicious, and also isn't quite as, doesn't have as much texture as the other one does. So I want to use this for my dipping sauce. So let me show you what we're going to do. So just in a little container for my dipping sauce. Let me get what I want. I'm going to get a spoon. I'm going to put a spoonful of this first. And like most of them, you have to kind of mix it up to get it all, because it kind of, the oil rises to the top and all the solids go to the bottom. So I'm going to mix it up nicely. So what's your favorite chili crisp, by the way? These are the two that and there was another one that I had a year ago, and I forget the name, and it was just what was available when I was in the store, and that was good. It still wasn't as much as I like the Lagamont. That one I just think is amazing. But that's just my personal. You know, I do think taste is super subjective. I'm going to put 2 small tablespoons of the chili crisp in here. And Junior says, I have to have Catawba shrimp every time I visit my kids in North Carolina. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, we're going to the Outer Banks in a few weeks. Grew up going there. And we go to a different town than I grew up going to, but the Outer Banks is just one of my favorite places. North Carolina, as you guys might remember, I was in Asheville last year. Love North Carolina. I just love, you know, the diversity of topography. You've got the shore, and that goes all the way into the Smokies and everything in between. So, the other thing I'm going to add to this, just to add some more complexity, is some rice vinegar. I'm just eyeballing it. I don't know, I'm not quite sure how much I added, and I'm going to be tasting. And then I'm just going to add a smidge of soy sauce. And then I want to add a little sweetness. You could do honey. I'm going to add a little bit of this mirin. It's not true mirin. It's the stuff I got. Let me show you right there. It's a little sweeter. It's mirin sweet cooking seasoning, so they'll add a little sweetness. And then I'm just going to give it a taste. And see. And I'm going to also add some green onions. Let me see how this is. Would like a little more sweetness in there. I'm going to actually go with just the honey because it'll give me more straight seasoning sweetness. I'm actually going to add a little bit of sesame oil. And I think I might add some water to that too, because I feel like I just don't want it to be super like in your face. I want there to be heat, but I want it to be just a little more diluted. So I just add a smidge of honey. Let's get that. The honey's going to take a little second. In fact, I'm going to get my little whisk to get that going. And Poe was saying, it's winter here. We have a cold front today. It's the 3rd day. Oh, so what are your temps there, Poe? And yes, I have the same, what I picked up, it is very salty, regardless, love it, yes. And Eugenia's kids live in Gastonia, near Charlotte, wonderful. All right, let's see. Okay, let me get a little taste. Add a little bit of water. Whoops, lost my whisk. Wash my whisk now. Just want it to be kind of a lightish sauce, but I want more heat, to be honest. So I might have to add more of the flavoring. Yep, definitely need more Szechuan. Okay. And I'm going to actually get some of those chilies there, and I'm going to add my green onion, and then we should be good to go. I could also add some red chili flakes if I wanted. That would punch up the spice factor, because I do want these to be firecracker. Okay, that's better. That's better. I just needed more in my ratio. And oh, that was a little spicy. Hit it in the back of the throat. I wanted more zing. It was just tasting too salty and too, I don't know, mediocre is the word, and I didn't want to hamper too much of the spice. Now you can of course make this according to how you'd like it, and you could just use the sweet chai chili sauce. Like, you could absolutely do that. So I'm going to put this aside. We can dip our mozzarella cheesy sticks in there, and we can also dip our firecracker shrimp. So I'm going to put this on the plate. All right. Okay, so let's tidy this up and let's get on to our next thing. So We have prepped our cheese. We have our crispy cheese sticks. We have prepped our firecracker shrimp, and now a quick and instant glorification, and that is these rice paper crisps. And it's funny because and I can get rid of my water, because when I was a little girl, and I don't remember how old I was, but I remember my folks, they had gone, I'm not sure where they went, and I'm pretty sure they were probably in an Asian grocery store, but they had gone in and they got this bag of colorful, like they're probably actually even like that big a circle, little chips, and they were hard, and they were thicker than rice paper for sure. And when they put them in hot oil, they all blew up, not an explosion, but they all puffed up. Let me change my saying. They all puffed up and became these delicious, light little delights. And I remember it was a phase that we would have those, like, because we were all just enamored. And as a child, it was like, and I don't think I was even that young. I was probably like 10 or something. It was so exciting to like see the whole puffing thing happen. And yeah, and it was this great little snack. Like instead of popcorn, we had these. So when I went to a restaurant in Princeton called Mistral, which if you're ever in Princeton, New Jersey, which is a great foodie town, it's a great college town, but it's a great foodie town. One of our favorite restaurants is Mistral there. And instead of bringing out bread, or many of the Mexican restaurants, they would bring out, tortilla chips. They would bring out these rice cracker chips. And I'm positive that they are making them similar to what I'm going to be doing today. So I found that really, really interesting. So what we're going to do first is we are going to be cutting these. So I need my scissors, and let me catch up with the chat. And a post says, in the mornings and picks up as the day progresses, anything between 10 and 16 degrees Celsius. And then she also said, I like as we have a long summer here and the heat can be unbearable. Yes, I'm sure. And I am not for the unbearable heat. And Eugenia said, it's been consistently in the 80s here. That's barely summer. And Eugenia also said, making chicharrones is fun like that. Wonderful. And Diaz also said, Ivy League colleges usually have great restaurants in their cities. So Princeton, from me, Philly is northeast of the city. I think it's like 45 minutes from us, 45, 50 minutes. And Hubs, if he was here, he's at work today, he could tell you for sure, but I think it's about that. So what we're going to do is we are going to take these and fry these. And you'll get to see, I'll make sure to bring the camera over. First I'm going to do a test one, and then I'll bring the camera over here so you can see what happens, the magic that happens and I'm using my wok because I love that. I feel like it is a great little way to do fry. I feel like the shape of the wok is helpful for frying things. So it's one of my favorite. I don't fry a lot, as y'all know, and if I do, it's my favorite way to do it. And I just realized, friends, that I think my, it wouldn't be exciting if something didn't go a little awry. And I think my thing fell out because this does not feel very hot. So friends, we're gonna have to wait a second. So it was hot at one point, and then I think when I moved to my laptop, it drug on the connection here. Let me show y'all. Just show you here a second. So it's connected right here, and I think the cord pulled and it came out. And so I am heating this back up because yeah, it wasn't hot enough. So, so we're gonna have to wait. It should be pretty quick because I know it usually heats it up pretty quick. And I'll get my little chopstick because that's a good way to test it. So meanwhile, we're gonna get some of these cut up. So after we do them the more, what's the word I would say, not safe way, but the easier way, which is in pieces, I do want to try putting one whole one there because that's how it was served in Mistral. They did a whole sheet of rice paper and then they sprinkled their seasonings on there. So we're going to cut this into eighths. You could do 6 or 8ths. I'm just going to do 8ths because this isn't huge. And I'd like these to kind of come out like chips. And again, you might be tempted to tear these with your hands, but I would recommend using scissors because they just tend to kind of crinkle and come apart into little chips, and I don't think you'll be happy with the result. So let me get these up. All right, so so we'll do one hole. So as we're waiting for the oil to get back heated up, because I'm sure it's not ready yet. Nope, definitely not ready yet. What I want to do is I would like to share with you the seasonings we're going to be doing on these today. So when they come out, when they fried up, we're going to put them here just to take off any of the excess oil. And I have a couple different seasonings I'm going to try because I want to see like which one tastes good. And as you know, with seasonings, it's all going to depend on what your mood is. So one of the seasonings I had seen in a short was using, if you have any of the Shin ramen and you don't use the seasoning packet, because sometimes you might just be doing another hack with the ramen. So if you don't use the seasoning packet, which I had one left over that I was using for another kind of recipe, save it though, because it has flavor power. So this will be spicy. So for anyone who doesn't like spicy, don't do this. This will be probably more spicy than you like. But what's nice is the seasoning packet has salt and spices and everything you need in there. Now, the one thing I will have to tell you a funny story. You know, the little one, he would, and it wasn't the spicy ramen. I think it was like just the normal ramen you'd see that had like Asian flavors or chicken flavor. He would break up that ramen. This was his college snack. Break it up uncooked, sprinkle the packet on it, and he'd eat it like chips. I haven't tried it, so I shouldn't judge. But as a mama, I was like, what? So that was his college snack because it was cheap, it was salty and crunchy, but from Philly, I don't know that I would recommend it unless you're like in college and really desperate, and that's what you got in your place. But he swears by it. So in any event, I also thought we could try some just with salt, and then it's always yummy with Firecracker. Like that has the nori and the different sesame seeds. And then this, as I've talked about before, Barbecue 3000, it's a Penzeys seasoning. It's a great all-purpose barbecue seasoning. I thought that would also be delicious because I think barbecue seasoning is a great thing to do. And this has salt. This doesn't have salt. So I would add salt when I do the Firecracker. So those are the three ones. Oh, and then I can't forget, oh my goodness, smoked paprika. Like that would be awesome. So that I'll put some salt with as well. So I'm going to put these here so I don't forget to salt those. These won't need salt. Let's test our oil, see how we're doing. Yay! Okay, it's ready. Thank you for your patience. All right, so let me do a test one first, make sure everything turns out as it should. I've got a couple of tools here to fish this out, but let me just get it in first. There it goes. All right. So it comes out like that. We'll put it here. And then let me show you how that looks from a better perspective. So I'm going to unhook this, let y'all come see. All right, so let me show you. So just slip it in. You can see, fries right up. And becomes this puffy thing. And we're going to put that there. All right, so now I'm going to do the rest of them, and then we will start seasoning and trying those. We'll also, at the end, do one whole one and see how that works. All right, so let me get the, oops, I think I switched things. Just a second here, friends. I need to go up a little bit. Okay, there we go. So let's get the rest of these in. I'm going to put 3 in at a time. They do sometimes tend to stick together, so you just want to kind of watch that. But it literally takes seconds. Whoops. Okay. And get the rest of these in. Okay. That. So you can control the shape a little better if you do them one at a time. That's my main advice for this. Okay. So now these, I do know that just like anything else, you usually want to season things. I just want to get some of this extra oil off while it's warm. So first let's do a little bit of barbecue seasoning there. Let's do, this one's just going to be salt. We're going to need a couple salted with the other seasonings. So let me get this one with some of the Firecracker. This is going to be our smoked paprika. I love smoked paprika. And then these last ones are going to be shin. Let's get those. And this has gotten a little bit, oh, this must have gotten moisture in it. Oh, look what happened. Oh my goodness, guys. Look at that. So I'm going to have to open a new one. I do have a new one in here. Moisture got in, and it would be fine if I added it to, I have another new one. It would be fine if I added it to ramen, but we need this like, oh, this one's kind of that way too. Oh my goodness. So apparently, oh my, wow. Okay, so I know what I'm going to do. These both hardened. They must have gotten moisture. I just had them in a baggie. That's interesting. Okay, so I'm going to get a fresh one. I'm going to dig into a fresh one. That's how much I love y'all, so we can try the seasoning. Here we go. So know that if you open this up, put it in a airtight, because those baggies must not be airtight apparently. All right, so let me get some of this seasoning onto my hand so I can sprinkle it. That was interesting. I'm just going to sprinkle some of this. Again, if you don't like spicy, I wouldn't recommend. Just, whoopsie, dump that, put this over here. All right, let's give these a try. So first we have our barbecue. Let me see. Do you hear that crunch? Oh, that's good. I like the barbecue. That's a good seasoning too. Now let's try the smoked paprika with salt. Ooh. I like the barbecue. I like the smoked paprika with salt better. That is awesome. So far, that's my favorite. Let me move these over here. I want to put this on a separate plate. Just a second, friends. Wow. I love the smoked paprika. I want to have more of those. Now I'm going to try the shin. Mm. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, I might like that better than smoked paprika. So if you don't like heat, smoked paprika, because that's just smoky, it's not like really hot, the shin is amazing. Look at that. Let's try the Firecracker. Ooh. Wow. So that's not hot. It just has, you know, it's funny. I wouldn't have thought that would matter with the flavors. That is really good. Oh my gosh. But which one was I need another one of the shin ones. Oh my gosh. That's what I'm going to do the big one with. That is so good. Oh, I'm so sorry. I feel bad eating in front of you. That is delicious. So easy. What a fun thing to put out at a party, right? Because you could do them ahead of time. They'd be ready to go. They don't have to be warm. And just season them. You could have different seasonings. Those are awesome. Highly recommend. Just something different, right? Wow. Really enjoyed that. I'm going to need another one of those. And so crispy, right? Okay. I'm going to keep the salt here because I'm going to need that. And I think I got some oil on this. So one second. Let me just tidy up real quick. Oh, what do you guys think? What would be the seasoning you'd want to put on? Oh my gosh. And what if you put like something sweet, like sugar and cinnamon, and went kind of the sweet route? We may have to. Oh, wait. I told you I'd do a big ta-da. Almost forgot, friends. You take that out. Let's try to do one whole one before we get these other things fried. But sweet, that could be kind of cool. Okay, let me put those away. Ready for the big ta-da? And I'm missing what y'all are saying. Let's see here. And let's see, let me catch up on the chat. Oh, Oregon rice. Wonderful. And Diaz asked, how did Mama and Papa Philly enjoy their visit? They enjoyed it very much. And we actually really enjoyed as a family watching the video of the live stream back. So that was very fun. And they just left yesterday. So yesterday I drove them to the airport and they got back safely. And Eugenia says, when my partner Andrew was in the conservatory, he'd eat peanut butter on a brick of rum. And oh my gosh, I think that beats my son's sodium overload. It puffed up very quickly, Poe, absolutely. And then Diaz says, I bet you can use these like you would use a lettuce cup for Asian ground beef with a peanut sauce. Oh yes, and you know what else would be good? Sushi. Like if you chopped it off really fine, and it probably, so they are, I will tell you, the chips are more fragile than a tortilla chip, but if you put that on it, Diaz, yes, like so that you're not dipping so much as placing in like some I just made yesterday a spicy tuna poke stack, some spicy tuna or spicy salmon. Oh, that would be phenomenal. That is great. Yes, I know I'm right, making you hungry. Okay, the big ta-da. Let's try this one, and I'm going to bring y'all close. Let me get this out first so y'all can see the big ta-da. Okay, let's see. Y'all ready? There we go. See it all puff up? All right. Look at this big piece out. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Look at that, friends. Look at that. Okay, let me put you all back. Oh, sorry about that. I'm trying to do this one-handed. Me and my big ideas, right? And I have this little paper towel here to let it drain on. Look at that. That was huge. Oh, I cannot wait to fry up the things we just made. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of shin. I really liked that. That was, I like the smoked paprika just as much, but the shin, when you want heat, and a lot of times I just want a little heat. And you don't need to sprinkle a lot. And there we go. I'm not going to do any more. Let me show you this to you guys. Let me get it on the plate. Oh. You don't need a lot. Look at this. Look at this. See? Look at that. How puffy it got. That was cool. You know what? That's how I would do it if I wanted to not impress, that's the wrong word, but for a big ta-da, if we were having friends over and put those out, that's what Mistral does. So Mistral brings you out, that's how I knew it was rice paper, because they bring you out big sheets of that, or maybe it's just broken in half, but it is not little chips, and it's quite impressive. So I do have some salt here because I want to make sure I salt our things once we cook them. So let's get out our first things to cook. Let me put this here. Let's assemble some stuff. Just get myself all set here for the fry. Okay, see if you can all see that. All right, move that over. All right, so we've got salt, paper towels, and then a rack so they don't get soggy. And let's first try, look at this. Oh my gosh. I am so excited. So we're going to try our mozzarella first. Let me move y'all over. Yes, Eugenia, you should definitely try it. Papadum. I've never heard. Now, so what is papadum? Tell me about that. I've never heard of that. And while you're telling me, we are going to dip. I'm going to put these in to fry. There's just 4, so I should be able to put them in all at once. And as you know, with frying, you want to you don't want to plop it. You want to dip it in and then release it. Don't overcrowd your fryer. And I will say you want to keep them separate because they will stick. So let me show you what this looks like as they're frying up. So there they are. And then I'm going to turn them also Yep, this one already stuck. I knew that was going to happen. So yeah, you want to watch because they will stick to each other. Just going to turn them to make sure everything gets all how it should. She doesn't say how long to leave these in, so we're guesstimating, right? We're guesstimating. And I don't think the rice paper really gets so much of a dark brown or anything, and they're light when you see them completed. But I want that cheese to be melted, so that's the important part. And DS says papadum is made with lentils instead of rice. It is like rice paper but made with lentils. Usually served as a complimentary dish at Indian restaurants with 4 sauces. Oh, I wonder if I have had it. Maybe I have. All right, I'm trying to guesstimate. I mean, they look pretty crisp, and they're getting a little bit brown. Okay, let's see. Taking them out. Some of the cheese is squeezing out of one of them, so I think some of the cheese is getting melty. There we go. And then I'm going to use a little strainer to get some of this cheese that melted out. Just to kind of clean up my oil. Of course, you know, I don't know about y'all, but I do save my oil, but I strain it through a fine sieve strainer to get out any of the solids. That way it cleans it up before you use it again. But I'm pretty sure that was cheese. So let me just take that out. Okay, I'm going to sprinkle them with some salt. And I'm going to put these over here. Can't wait to try those. Oopsie. So much for keeping the cheese off there. Let's taste that cheese. Oh, that's good. All right, now for the shrimp. Let's put them in. Again, just lay them. I'm just going to put 2 in at a time because they're longer. And again, I don't want them, and this is splattering a little bit because of the moisture that's in the marinade. So just know that. I think I'm going to be doing a little cleaning today afterwards. I'm flipping them. And again, I just want them cooked. Oops, and I stuck. Come on. Come on, guys. Oh, goodness. There we go. So want them cooked. So let them go a few minutes. Let's see what I'm missing. And Post says, I never knew that they are made with lentils. Yes, oh, you said that, right. And not a starter, but complimentary as DS. Yep. Okay. So just trying to figure out, DS, I'm going to use your expertise. I'm going to guesstimate with this first batch. How long would you fry these for shrimp so I can have them perfectly cooked? What would be your recommendation? I do want to make sure they're cooked through. And she said, I love them. Here I always, at the store I'm making an Indian dish. Microwave for a minute or 2 or go. Okay, let me take them out then. Thank you, DS. I knew I could count on you. Let me sprinkle them with some salt. And let's get these in. I'll use my fingers. And remember, these do splatter a little, so do be careful because of the moisture in there. And let me set my timer for 2 minutes and take it right under. There we go. I'm going to put these over here. Oh, I cannot wait to try these. Oh my goodness. What a cool lunch. What a great lunch. Well, they are splattering, guys. Oh my goodness. Do you see that? So next time I have one of those splatter guards. I would have my splatter guard here too. So be warned with the shrimp. The shrimp, they are firecracker, not gonna lie. But it'll be worth it, right? A little cleaner and sponge, and we're gonna be fine. And these also, depends on the size of the shrimp, yep. It is fun, it is fun. I can't wait to try them. All right, it's been a minute. So these are considered jumbo shrimp. I mean, I wouldn't say, I mean, I've seen bigger shrimp, so I would say more of a large shrimp. Like not a, like a large shrimp. Like it's not a, I've seen some bigger jumbo ones. That's the only difference. All right, so I'm gonna take these out. These are gonna cook a little less so we don't overcook, and we can kind of compare to this one. And I'm gonna turn off my oil. All right, okie dokie. Let me move this around, move the cord around. Wow, so exciting. All right, get some salt. Put my salt away, and then we are gonna get some trying. All right, so put these here. Move this out of the way. Let me get this tidied up so we can have a taste test. See how these are. I know someone on Twitter, I'm forgetting her name now, but had asked if I was going to do the Vietnamese pizza. Oh, that was our timer. The Vietnamese pizza, and I wasn't. I have done, if any of you, were interested in that, I did down below post or put a link to the video, the short that I made of the Vietnamese pizza I did, and I did really enjoy it. I mean, I will say, to me, it was delicious. It was unique. But it's also like, because I added cheese and chili crisp, and so it definitely wasn't a light dish, but it was delicious. It was great for something different. All right, so let's get a plate with our sauce. I'm gonna stir it up with my spoon from before, and let's give these things a try. Okay, here's our dipping sauce. I'm gonna try it first without the dipping sauce, just totally plain, okay? Let's see if we get some cheese pull. I think I waited too long for the cheese pull. Okay. Let me try dipping it. I'm bummed that I don't have cheese pull. Just gonna be real. I don't know where I put my water. Oh, here it is. So, a spice went down. So, I always go honest with you. It's a great texture. What I'm finding though, since we doubled up, because she recommended doubling up, since we doubled up on the rice paper, I would try it without doubling up. I know you have to be careful. We might have had to have them in less time, but I feel like the outside is crisp and the inside is like that chewiness that you get from rice paper that has been softened, just like in a summer roll. So I would have rather had it being like a crisp outer, cheesy inner. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's the only thing I would do differently. I would try it just with one, rice paper half and not the double, because of the texture. And it's not bad texture. It's just not what I was, I think, hoping for. I was hoping for more shattering on the outside, cheesy on the inside. And the cheese pulls because we waited too long, so the cheese has just started to, like, it kind of pulled, but didn't do the stringy. It didn't taste bad. Like, it tasted good. The idea there is great, but I would definitely try it with just one. Now let's try the shrimp. And this well, actually I'm gonna taste this one too without the dip first, just because I want to taste that marinade. That is good. Oh, I should dip this one. That is yummy. Excellent. So I like that better than the cheese. The only thing I would do different is I would not wrap it up in as much. I would wrap it in maybe just a quarter. I don't know, like I feel again like I'd rather there be a thinner coating around my shrimp than all of it. It wasn't, I mean, obviously it wasn't doubled, so it was a thinner coating than these. The shrimp are delicious inside. I see why she had used a sweet chili sauce because it has more of a sweeter flavor profile than this does. So that would play off of the oyster sauce and the ginger garlic fish sauce. The inside was a great marinade. So yeah, so that's the only thing is more of the texture I know I was trying to do with the rice paper, and it worked. However, I think that it would be nice to do maybe just a little bit less, so it's a little more shatterling crisp, but that's it. But they're delicious. My favorite thing though, if I'm being totally honest, is these. These were amazing. I loved these. Like, I think these are what I'm gonna do again. I don't know if I'll do these again because you know I'm not a fryer at home. Like I'll get fried stuff out, but this, and also by the way, I've seen in videos, people put not a big, just a small amount of oil on a fry pan and it really can crisp up. You might have to kind of tilt it a little to make sure it gets all of the, you know, the uncooked rice paper parts, but you could even use less oils, which is nice too, just because of, you know, a lot of times people don't want to fry it because they don't want to like have to buy all the oil that you're going to fry in. So these are the ones that I would definitely do again. This, I cannot wait to do for Hubs. He's going to love those. But this, and again, it's not that these are bad. I just don't know. I mean, so I would be anxious to try hers with the wonton strips, which is what she originally had for the Firecracker Shrimp. I just was trying to find something my sister could eat. And now I'm really anxious to see how it's going to be for the chicken wings, because when this fella did them with chicken wings, I think there were 3 different judges or chefs that were giving opinions, and they all were like, oh my gosh, like this is just the crispiest wing. So we shall see. So stay tuned with that. But oh my gosh. Oh, Kim, oh my gosh. Welcome, Kim. I'm so glad you hopped on. But Kim, Eugenia, Poe, Matthew, and DS, thank you so much for chatting, and thanks to everyone who came on to see the stream. This was very interesting. I'm glad you were able to join me in the test kitchen. It's always more fun with friends, right? And I wish I could share the food with you. Do try the chips. The chips are fun. Eugenia, fun, easy, and you can dress them as you want. And I would like to try something sweet and see what that profile would be like for more of a desserty thing, like a light desserty thing as well. So coming up, I will be, and I just put my paper away. Oh, here it is. My next stream will be Friday, August 11th, and I'm going to be making something that's a staple here in my household. Is Greek turkey burgers. And we, as you all know, I don't have outside space here in the city, so I don't have a grill I can use, so it's always inside. And what I find I do is poultry burgers more often inside because they splatter less. And this is a recipe we've been doing for years, both on an outside grill and in an inside grill pan. So it's absolutely delicious. It's one of our family's favorite recipes. And so yeah, so on Friday at 5 p.m. I'm going to be streaming before Hubs and I eat dinner, and it'll be Greek turkey burgers. So I hope you all have a great week and weekend ahead, and until we eat again, thank you guys. Thank you so much for your support, and hope you all have a good week and weekend.